That was voices by Patrick Patricios. You can find more of his music on his YouTube channel, Patrick Patricios. That's Patricios, Patrikios. Now, here's the comic panel.
All right, welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
And I'm Jacob.
And unfortunately, Shawenta could not join us today. Today we're going to be discussing JLA, the Deluxe Edition, Volume 1, written by Grant Morrison, with pencils by Howard Porter and inks by John Dell. Also with some co-writing from Mark Miller, and some co-penciling for Oscar Jimenez, Don Hillsman, and additional inking from Chip Wallace, Ken Branch, Annabelle Rodriguez, and colors from Pat Garay, John Callises, and Tom J. McGraw. Yep.
Oh, and just so that the audience is aware, Superman is created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and Batman was created by Bob Kane, and Wonder Woman was created by William Moulton Marston, and Aquaman was created by Paul Norris. I didn't know that last one.
And we really hate letters. That's
That's the only person on the credits page we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna keep it that way.
No, Ken Lopez and Albert Tobias D. Gutzman, or Guzman, not Guts.
Yeah.
Guzman was the letters. Okay, so this is the Justice League of America, not just your worldwide Justice League,
Yes.
not Justice League International, not
Specifically, only America.
Yes.
Even though they go outside of America kind of a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, their home base is America. That doesn't mean they don't serve other countries.
No, the home base is
Their home base seems to be that thing like up in space or
Yeah.
on the moon.
Yeah,
It is on the moon.
It's space first and then the moon.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
And not to be confused with Justice Society of America.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're
They are
predecessors that
Mm.
eventually also continued next to them.
They came back.
Yeah.
Out of retirement.
Okay. So yeah, I'll start off with Talon. So no, wait.
It was Jake.
Jake, why did you pick this book?
So I picked this book because this is probably I'm not going to say it's the most modern of a really dangerous Batman story, or it's the first most modern one, because obviously there was Dark Knight Rises or Returns, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the very start of man, Batman can beat anybody with enough time and preparation. But that was kind of a one-off. This, I believe, was the first time this had come up in actual annual comics, basically.
Gotcha.
Or annual release, whatever you want to call a serialized release.
Yeah.
And so people point to the first arc that's in this book, where it's, spoiler alert, the super team comes to kind of take over the Earth softly while pretending to protect the Earth, and actually it's white Martians for some reason. I don't know why the white Martians really want to get into the Earth, but they do.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not even because Martian Manhunter is here.
Nope, there's just this weird, apparently the most famous Martian city ever is not on Mars?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, basically, it's kind of one of those deals where, basically Mars was actually colonized by the Martians, and so their original homeworld was Earth, I think, is what they were trying to say. Although I'm not 100% on that theory.
So they'd be called Earthshins that colonize Mars to become Martians?
Yes.
I don't know. It's that or it's something similar. I
Yeah.
thought they had at one point tried to colonize Earth and then got pushed back somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not by like ancient humans, because compared to the Martians, like regular old people are kind of a pushover. Like,
Yeah.
we're not psychic. We can't shapeshift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'll say too that like I think in terms of how we name planets in our solar system, technically our name would be like Terra or Terran. You know,
Okay.
so
Gotcha.
so they'd be Terrans from
Gotcha.
Mars.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so that's why I chose this book, was because of like that arc, and I thought it was going to take the whole book, so I was expecting a pretty slow paced how that story panned out. But then that's only like the first 3 or 4 issues,
Yeah.
and then the next 4 issues completely go off the rails. Is what I'm going to describe it as.
Yeah.
I'd say like it's just they said here's the first 9 issues, and that's what we just arbitrarily chose 9. We're not talking about an arc. We're just choosing 9.
Well, I mean, I feel like for a deluxe edition, it has 2, well, really like 3, but like 2 main multi-issue stories. I feel like,
Gotcha.
and then it also has a cliffhanger for the next arc.
I see. I will say like the from ending one arc to the next arc, there's information that they just like it was really weird. So like issue 4 is the end of the first arc.
Yeah.
And then issue 5 kind of begins a different arc, but not the big main arc.
Right. There's a little mini, like 2 issue or something.
But there's information. There's stuff that happens between 4 and 5 that barely get explained with the last issue in this deluxe edition. And I'm a little bit mad about that.
Yeah. Are you talking about Superman's blue costume?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Superman looks different halfway through. He also has none of his same powers.
Yeah.
But also he might as well have the same powers. I forgot that
this was the 90s. And so 90s comics are weird and kind of bad most of the time. And part of that is like probably the worst Aquaman presentation at any time.
What?
With
really?
the weird hook hand.
No.
I hate the hook hand.
I think I told Shawenta about the hook hand. It's too bad she couldn't join us because she was like, wow, that actually sounds cool. And I wanted to see if she actually thought that he was cool.
The hook hand is bad.
I think
And B, also, man, Blue Superman. I completely forgot about Blue Superman until I started reading this book.
Yeah. Also, what is your preferred Aquaman style then?
Please tell me
modern Aquaman, basically.
Okay.
Like Jason Momoa.
Oh.
Modern Aquaman. Okay. That is the best Aquaman.
Okay, I thought you meant like maybe like around like New 52 Rebirth kind of looking.
I mean, that's better. That's better than like old like Super Friends Aquaman, where it was literally just, man, I can talk to fish. I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, New 52 and Rebirth made it better, where he's, like, throwing punches against Superman and, like, holding his own. Like, that made it better, but, like, the modern movie Aquaman is probably the best.
Huh. Okay, so then what would you say is your favorite, like, comic book representation of Aquaman?
In the comics? I don't read anything with Aquaman in it most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume that you'd mean somewhere around like New 52 and Rebirth, since that's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's about where it ends up, pretty much.
Gotcha. I don't know. Outrageous is pretty good to me.
Is that what he says in here?
No.
Oh, okay.
In Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh, Batman. I have not seen, like, I've seen clips from that show. I have not seen that show. Gotcha. Anyway, but going back to the book. So, yeah, basically, that's right. We were talking about the Blue Superman. Yeah, that was weird, and it was weird that they didn't feel like they needed an explanation at all.
Mm-mm.
And this kind of comes back to something that I've talked about before, where it's all like, when is it appropriate to have like, the little captions where it's like, learn more in this
Yeah.
issues, versus not explaining it at all, versus including the issues in your collected edition. I mean, I don't think it would be very appropriate to say like, to just throw those Superman issues where it happens into this, because like, where do you stop at that point? It's all like, wait, I don't know who Kyle Rayner is. Let's throw those issues in.
Okay.
It's like that.
Well, I would say more like it's more like when you are. I would want to say it's like when you introduce, like when there's a major change. That's when you're like, oh hey, check this out.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, like this is, with Kyle Rayner, right? Like you're introducing all these new characters, like so iffy.
Yeah, it can turn into a slippery slope, but I think that having a caption box for like the most recent changes within your series is pretty reasonable to me.
I mean, because it is like from page to page. Like you end one issue and it's like, oh man, here's like the first big story where we had all the Justice League together and they just beat the White Martians. And then like a couple pages later, it's like, who's this guy who looks like Superman? Right. And everybody calls Superman, but doesn't look or act like the Superman that we've known.
Right. But is the same Superman.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of. There's a Superman Red that's running around that we don't meet in this book.
Okay, I forgot about Superman Red, actually. I thought that was just him.
Does he look like him? Like the blue guy, just red?
But red.
But red, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like... He's not evil, but he's like kind of like Superman's like darker side, right? That's how it works.
Yes, like Blue Superman is like the thinker. Like he's very cerebral, and like even though he does have like cool electricity powers, but like I guess then Superman Red would be like the obviously more physical one, who just like wants to fight out of every situation.
Gotcha.
But to circle back a little bit about like other members of the team, I think it's interesting that you mention, Kyle Rayner is here, not the traditional Hal Jordan as Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've also got Wally West instead of Barry Allen as the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't really care that they were like, technically they are replacements, but not to be reductionist, but, a Flash is kind of a Flash, and a Green Lantern's kind of a Green Lantern. Like, they all do the same things.
Right.
Whereas, like, I think Superman Blue is an interesting situation because, like, it isn't just somebody else who's just, like, slapping on Superman. Because, like, even if you don't know anything about comics, if you just watch the movie or, like, have cultural osmosis about, like, who Superman is, you'd look at the person in the comic and say, oh, that's Superman. At least, like, in the first couple issues. But then, like, nobody has ever described Superman as, like, electric blue and using a bunch of electricity powers all the time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I will say, like, I mean, I don't know. When you say, like, a Flash is a Flash, like, I kind of felt like, to me, from, like, a very far viewpoint, like just a quick glance on this Flash, you'd be like, yeah, okay, he's just like Barry Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like when you actually read it, it's like, I don't know, there's quite a bit of differences, like, just different speeds, like him being like, yeah, he still says he's the fastest man alive, but not as fast as Barry.
And it's also important to mention too that like basically Wally has been the Flash for the last 13 years.
Oh wow.
In our history, in real world time, not necessarily DC time.
Do you mean like from this point?
So yeah, he had been the Flash for 13 years when this first came out.
Wow.
Yeah. So this that's another important thing to mention was the comics that appear in this edition were published in 1997. Wally became the Flash in 1985 after Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that is like kind of interesting how like DC kind of like runs through like replacement characters quite a bit.
Mhm.
Because like obviously there are like 6 Green Lanterns now.
Is that?
And like they're all fine. It's like, hey man,
6
we're Green
Green
Lanterns. It's alright. Even though like I think they were all at one point decided to be like not follow what's the thing for like somebody replaces you at replacements for Hal Jordan at some point. They're all like, well, I guess we just found 5 other rings since Hal Jordan's came back to life.
Yeah.
But then like
Gotcha.
every time there's a modern Flash story, it's like, you know, Barry Allen and Wally West fighting about who's the fastest man alive.
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, and I think that just has to do with precedent, you know, and people's like expectations that like, I mean, and for a while actually they had Barry Allen and Wally being the Flash, and then they had the other Wally being Kid
Wallace.
Flash. Wallace.
Ah, Wallace, that's a strong name. No, that's literally how it went. It was like,
Yeah.
Wallace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because post New 52, you had like Wally West, who's in this comic, is just stuck in the Speed Force, and then but they still want to have Wally West, so they introduced like Wallace West, even though they called him Wally West.
Yeah. Yeah, but once he emerged from the Speed Force, he became the Flash, and then something he maybe became Dr. Manhattan.
Oh yeah, that's I don't want to talk about that because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
It's so weird to hear that the Wally West was the Flash for so long, because even today, when you think of the Flash, you think of Barry Allen.
Yeah, like, I mean, DC Comics definitely did a heavy, like, rebranding campaign to be all like, nope, we're going back to Barry Allen, you know? Like, for a lot of comic fans before our time, Wally West was the Flash in their minds, you know? And it was just like, it was right there at, like, you know, basically the New 52 that they switched over, and people started forgetting about Wally.
Gotcha.
So yeah. But which also happened in the real comics universe. People forgot about him.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting away from modern comics and back to this book though. Yeah. And speaking of Flash and Green Lantern, the point that I wanted to make about them was like, I kind of was annoyed by their dynamic, but at the same time, I enjoyed it. It was kind of a love-hate relationship a little bit, because it was
and
like...
So did they.
Yeah. Because it was like, you know, there's the classic Flash and Green Lanterns are always friends. You know, that's just a rule throughout history.
Did not know that.
Yeah. But they're also a little bit at each other's throats in this. And it's funny, too, because, like, you know, like I established earlier that Flash had been the Flash for 17 years, and before that he was Kid Flash, and he was the new person on the block, and then, like, you know, and then he's, like, teasing and, like, you know, kind of getting gruff about him not being the real Green Lantern. I'm like, Wally, you're not the real Flash. You're not the real Flash.
It's weird because like Wally is 1 degree separated from the last Flash. So, like maybe he has a deal about like, you know, your replacements. But like prior to Kyle, there have been 3 other Green Lanterns who have all been Green Lanterns. Who all do the same stuff.
What Guy Gardner was before?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, and now Kyle, even though Kyle is like the new guy in this book, which is kind of refreshing because like nowadays he kind of like, even though he does have his own personality, he does kind of like fall into like, oh, those are the Green Lanterns. Even though, like, I did kind of feed into that saying, like, a Green Lantern is a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Can you explain what do you mean by him saying those are the Green Lanterns?
Well, for a long time, until they introduced,
Simon
Jessica,
Baz.
Simon Baz, and is it Jessica or is there some other name?
Yeah,
Jessica.
Cruz.
Jessica Cruz. Yeah.
Jessica Cruz, thank
Yeah.
you. Those are like the two like new lanterns now.
Mhm.
And so like that means like the other four are like now they're like old hat lanterns.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would agree with that sentiment. Like, because Kyle was the 90s lantern, it's all like, from our perspective, he is part of the group of four that came before, and then those two are the new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe before those two were new, before they were introduced, Kyle might have been in the middle, where it was all like, he's kind of modern, but also they're doing the same thing with Barry Allen, where, Hal Jordan is kind of at the front, and then, the two others have their own things going on. Guy Gardner's a Red Lantern now, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So when I was reading this comic, the biggest impression I had of Kyle was when he was like, something about like, man, villains these days, they just kill your girlfriend and stuff them in a fridge.
Oh, that was one of the worst parts.
I was like, so this is the Green Lantern, that fridging.
Yep, that's...
Yep, it's him. And like, now, like, it's like... No wonder they named that list after him when he's like so like casual about it. Like
very flippant. Like willing to toss it out in mid-fight banter.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like Spider-Man joking about how the devil erased his marriage in the middle of a fight with Doc Ock.
Yeah. It's just like or that he was like, actually like partially responsible for the death of Gwen Stacy,
Oh my goodness. Like, there's no other scenario where that would be okay, but I just feel like because it's so absurd, and now it is like it became the term for kind of like bad writing for killing your characters. That's the only reason I'm like remotely fine with it.
Man, it just like, I was like, I could not believe that they like. I mean, I know that it didn't have any historical like meaning when Grant Morrison was writing that, but so for one, it just didn't feel like him. I was like, really? Like, actually, I think that joke was right next to like a fart joke, and I was just like, what? Who's writing this?
It's also weird, like, if you're anybody else on the team, like, nobody else is going to be like, hey, Kyle, heard you joking about your dead girlfriend in the middle of that fight? Are you okay?
Yeah.
I will say, when I read that, I didn't interpret it as him joking about it, or, making light of it. I interpreted it as him being like, man, villains are so messed up, like, this is terrible.
I mean... Oh no, yeah, I just didn't get a sullen kind of impression from him, because like, they were like, in that fight scene, they were just starting up, so generally, I guess, heroes like try to keep the energy like positive, so then it's so that kind of clashed with the negative statement and made it seem like it was like not positive, but it was joke worthy,
I see. Gotcha.
So maybe he was meant to be serious, but it did not come off that way.
Gotcha.
If that was the intention. Yeah.
So I do want to delve into a little bit more specifics with this book. Mm-hmm. So the first arc that we come across in this edition is a new superhero team called the Hyper Clan comes to Earth and starts, outshining the Justice League, basically. And they do all this philanthropic endeavors, and they're like, wow, the Earth is, being fixed. And then the Justice League are like, or I guess maybe more like Superman was like, I don't trust them, but we'll see,
Yeah.
And then it was quickly like, oh, so they're executing criminals now. Okay. And then Superman was quickly like, yeah, no, these are not it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then what followed was just them trying to defeat them, but also figuring out like who they are.
Yeah. And also, like, so for being spread across 4 issues, that story seemed like it went so fast. Like my head was spinning, where it was like, okay, they're just kind of like, they're cautious about them, but they could be good. Maybe this is gonna be like a story where the Justice League has to accept that, like, they're not always doing the right thing with their powers, kind of thing, and they could do some good elsewhere. And it was like, no, okay, they're probably, like, you can tell that this is all just for show, so maybe they're like just trying to get famous and money and stuff, or like, maybe like hold the world hostage after they become reliant on them, something like that, and then it's all like, I felt like, and maybe this is wrong, I felt like the Justice League was like, they're mind controlling people, or at least Batman was, and I was like, whoa, guys, like, you gotta deflate your egos for a second and say, maybe we're not the most popular super team anymore. And then
I will agree, like, it is a big heel turn on the HyperClan's side.
Yeah.
But like that conversation that is had with Batman where they're talking about maybe it's mind control. Like, Batman is right. They are mind controlling everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that. Like, we don't know, but yes, they are being mind controlled. But B, that also comes after the HyperClan tries to destroy the Watchtower and all the Justice Leaguers on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
I do have a bit of a gripe with that, how that went down, because basically Batman shows up. Wait, was this where he was like, I've been here an hour?
Yeah. that was a good scene.
He's like, where's Batman? I'm right here. I've been here an hour. But anyway, Superman's like, I didn't see you. And he's like, oh yeah? Like, is human brains operate on frequency or something? Like, was there some kind of frequency that is going off? And he's like, I didn't check for that. There is a disturbance. And then Superman's like, oh yeah, mind control.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess Superman was like, this is operating on the 7 hertz, and human beings operate on 7 hertz, so therefore mind control. I like it. That's such a leap of logic.
Yeah. It was just comics.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was just like so like shocking. It was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna roll with the mind control, all right.
Kind of in the same vein as that, like, weird reveals that should be treated with more like drama. Metamorpho dies in this first issue.
Yeah. That I forgot that happened a little bit.
All the issues after this are like, oh yeah, Metamorpho's dead, but we got kind of bigger stuff to fry right now. And then there's like a scene at a graveyard where they're burying Metamorpho.
Well,
and like they're also telling about this other character that they met who just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair though, like in the first arc, it was just he was in a coma or something to that effect. Right? He hadn't died yet.
Is it? I didn't.
Well, yeah, they say he's like inert, but then like nobody says that he dies, and then we just see them at the graveyard. Yeah. So like the logic is that like he's inert, and then he got buried for being inert, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. True.
Maybe inert plus dirt. Back to Metamorpho.
I see. It's like he's like a plant.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Just grow a Metamorpho tree.
I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe that hit closer to home to me because Metamorpho is like my favorite C-list Justice Leaguer.
Oh yeah,
because he's just worse Firestorm. So
yeah.
Okay.
Also, like, so, yeah, he basically turns into an escape pod for like, the Justice League that is currently there.
Mm-hmm.
But, so So that didn't line up. That first issue didn't line up with the last issue that was the Secret Origins for this Justice League, where it was like basically they were all like, well, we are the Justice League now, there's no other one. I was like, wait, so when does this take place before the Hyper Clan or after the Hyper Clan? Because like Metamorpho was supposed to be in charge of that Justice League, so was it a transition period and he died, or
So I interpret it as like the beginning where Metamorpho was saving the Justice League that was on the team. That happened before all the events of the story. So this, the Justice League that we are introduced to for the rest of the series, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman. Did it? Or
you said Wonder Woman already?
Who am I missing? Martian Manhunter. There you go.
There, yeah.
They came, they became the Justice League because Metamorpho and his team got injured or died.
Okay. So that Secret Origin happened after the Hyper Clan.
Yeah, so that Secret Origin, if I remember correctly, it was like it was somewhere between 4 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah, issues 4 and 5.
Oh, gotcha. Man, I know that they're putting them in publishing date order, and there's definitely reason to do that. But I almost, with the way that things were split up anyway, I almost wish that it was put in.
Yeah. I that's how I read it. I read issue 4, and then like one page of 5, and I was like, I want to know how this Superman came to being. So just skip to the.
And it didn't tell you.
It didn't.
But
no.
But it told you something.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that happening in between. Although it's kind of weird, but yeah. Okay.
I will say, so like my interpretation of the Hyper Clan was like, they were like, you humans have messed up the Earth and we're here to fix it. I was like, I don't trust you already.
Yeah.
You come in and start accusing us now? Like, what were you here?
Yeah, and like it was pretty obvious that it was a dumb idea to like change Earth's like ecosystem to like put like plant life and stuff and rainstorms in the Sahara Desert. I was like, are you kidding me? Like how many people on Earth thought that was a good idea in 1997? Because they all need to like get a brain.
I mean, this is gonna be a weird poll, but it reminded me of like the 4th episode of like the old Super Friends show, because like in that it's a bunch of Venusians come to Earth and pretend to be doing all these nice things for humanity, but are actually trying to make Earth Venus again. So like they move the Earth like slightly closer to the sun to move it out of the way of an asteroid. And then like, if they make it a lot more humid, so a lot more plants grow, so you make it, not overpopulate, or you can feed more people. But actually it's, once we do all this and once it's like Venus enough, then we'll just kill all the humans.
Aha.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But yeah, basically, I just thought that like, being all like, we're going to change Earth's environment. Yeah, is just like, what do you, like, you're going to like cause a hurricane in like Montana or something inadvertently. Like, yeah.
Martians, I guess, aren't known for their forward thinking.
Really? I mean, I think Martian Manhunter.
Maybe green Martians. And I don't want to get too, like, Mars political in this. But, like, this story also, like, delves into, like, there might have been a race war on Mars?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty established, actually, I think.
Well, no, so they were saying, like, all the white Martians want is wrath, destruction. So, no really thinking on their part.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, like, basically, I read it as white Martians are fascists, and Green Martian. Sorry to usurp your not trying to get Martian political on this show. It got Martian political.
I mean, if anybody's offended by Mars politics, I'd like to meet that person. But,
well, depending.
That's, I guess. You're right. I don't want to meet any white Martian apologists.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay. Anyway.
Some of these names I think are really good. But like, so there are 7 members of the Hyper. No, actually more than that. There are quite a few members of the Hyper Clan. We have Protex.
That sounds like Prozac, by the way. I'm like, it's a medicine.
or Protect, without the T. Anyway.
That's probably what they were going for when they wrote it, but I hear Prozac.
But Primade, I'm like, I don't...
That sounds like knockoff Gatorade.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Primate.
Huh?
But also not a good look.
Yeah. And then Armech, which I guess sounds like a robot.
Yeah, it's kind of like Armadillo and Mech.
It's fine. That one's probably like the most like just fine one.
Yeah. Centurion, which okay I'm okay with.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody.
I mean, it's just a play on Centurion, so it's fine.
Yeah. And then Immortal. I guess.
Yeah.
Just swap the vowel out of immortal, and it's fine.
But yeah, he looked like a skeleton.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I thought he reminded me of.
Skeletor?
No. Anyway, we have Zoom, which I think is the dumbest name because we already have Zoom.
Yeah, they.
That's Professor Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Good point.
But
Jake.
Also, guess what he does? He's a speedster.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, Professor Zoom is like the word Zoom, but this Zoom is like Z-U with a umlaut over it.
Yeah.
And then M. So it's like, I don't know a lot about German, but I don't think that's pronounced like 2 O's together.
Oh, so it's Zum?
I don't know.
I mean, it might just be some... It'd be hilarious if his name was like Zam or something. just put an A in there. No, I think Grant Morrison was definitely intending it for it to be Zoom, but yeah, I agree with Jake that it's probably up for debate.
Gotcha.
Or well, not up for debate, but up for critical analysis from somebody who knows what they're reading.
And then we have Tronics, which just makes me think of electronics, but I don't think that's her powers. And then Fluxus, which I actually don't remember what he does.
Yeah, me neither.
Fluxus might be the worst.
Do you remember who they are?
No. And that's part of why they might be the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't remember that one.
Because you know what? If you're trying to be a superhero, a lot of it's in the name.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? You make fun of Zoom, but you hear the name Zoom, and you know what he does.
Yeah. He zooms.
True.
Yeah. Also, yeah, it was very interesting to like see Wally's like internal monologue while he was fighting Zoom, and like how little the Speed Force had been developed at that time. Because like right now, I feel like I know so much about the Speed Force that has been talked about, but like in this, it was all like there's kind of this thing that where speedsters get their power, but it doesn't seem like he's connected to it.
And I don't. In this, they mention it later, but in this issue, it sounded like they said like Zoom field and not force.
Speed field. Yeah, right. Yeah. That so they didn't even have like a clear like name to call it all the way. There's like sometimes it's the speed force, sometimes it's speed field. Is it a wave? Is it a particle?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting that you mentioned the internal monologues of some of the characters, because I do think that is some of like the stronger writing in the book. Like there's a page spread where it's like Green Lantern is trying to fight off the HyperClan and protect the space station, and like, you know, that monologue about how he's using his powers is actually really cool. And then that monologue that Wally has with like fighting another speedster, I think that's also really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also like joking about your dead girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was good though.
Two extremes in this book.
Yeah.
Oh, page 6. Okay, so also, to what you were saying earlier, Jake, about I forgot how you put it, like Batman being like dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just like, man, why do people always underestimate Batman? But then I realized this might actually be the beginning of it. So
like, yeah, like
so
that's kind of what I meant. Like nowadays it's old hat, but like, you know, if you were reading the comics 20 years ago, then you might say like, oh man, that plane got shot down. Batman's probably dead, or at least like super hurt. And then an issue later, now it's Batman's not hurt at all, knows who they are, and is like actively hunting these superpowered villains who have so far fought Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and Green Lantern.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Martian Manhunter did not get enough, like, didn't get reprimanded enough for like knowing the entire time and not telling anybody.
This could have been solved in like issue 1.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh hey guys, these guys are Martians who are as psychic as me, but also as susceptible to fire. So
I will say, so that reveal of like, oh yeah, they're, you know, afraid of fire. I was very confused because when I first read that, it didn't register in my mind that it was them being afraid of fire. Because what they said was basically, don't mind the fire.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that doesn't really sound like you're afraid of it. That just sounds like you don't need to deal with it, you know?
I get you. Yeah, no. They're specifically saying, do mind the fire. To be careful of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it will severely hurt them. Yeah, that was one thing that I really liked, that I felt was very like Grant Morrison was like basically in the very first pages, you know, when it's Metamorpho and the other ones, it's all like, this fire-powered Justice Leaguer that I don't remember the name called out sick, you know? And then it like it gets revealed that they're Martians, and then like I think Superman is all like, all those Justice Leaguers that have fire powers got sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that was kind of a pattern you should have seen sooner. Like, the reader didn't see it because they didn't know. Yeah. They only knew one person. But also...
Like, it is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it was also it was a good breadcrumb kind of detail where you're all like, whoa, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Like, this does distance itself from like the kind of dumber, like dangerous Batman stories, because like it does make sense that like he would make the logical conclusion that all these heat-based and fire-based heroes are getting sick. Who's susceptible to fire? Like, what's the reason? And then it's like, oh, maybe it's somebody who's susceptible to fire. Maybe it's the Martians again. Again, I don't know if it's again, but whatever.
For the first time, probably.
Okay, so this is a tangent, but I really want to go down. So in the beginning of
you get one.
Okay, in the beginning of this arc, they were talking about Firehawk, which is one of the heroes that called him sick. And I was just noting that like people were so confused about what gender this person was. They're like, she, I don't really know what they are. And so I was like, wait, what? And I realized that, like, I actually have no idea who Firehawk is. But it seems like someone who's very close to Firestorm. They're like in getup.
Yeah, their look is similar to Firestorm.
But like, to me it's very clearly a woman, so I'm like, I don't know what.
I don't know. It's clear to us because we're reading in a comic, but like, if you just see a person made of fire, how would you really know? Like, if somebody appeared in that studio on fire, would you be confident in telling somebody what gender they were?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, Firehawk is Lorraine Riley, a superhero with the powers of Firestorm. So,
okay.
I wonder why they decided to do that. I'm like, so you're telling me you have Firestorm, who's a guy, or looks like a guy and all that.
Yeah.
And then you have Firehawk, who looks like a woman. Huh.
I mean, yeah.
What was your purpose there?
Maybe this picture is closer to how she looks. So this is her in Doomsday Clock. This is her on Earth S. And then this is her on Earth 9. But yeah, and then I guess this is her in the main Earth.
Yeah, let me see if I can find
Anyway, I think that's enough of that tangent, though.
Yeah, like, if it's not your job to know superheroes apart, you probably just hear, like, fire, and then nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all you, like, need to know. So, like, when you try to think back on it, it's like, oh, is that Firestorm? Oh, is that Firehawk? Or am I thinking of Hawk from Hawk and Dove? You're like, oh, no. And it just falls apart if you aren't being paid to tell them apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody named Storm in this universe.
Oh, thank goodness, because then that'd just be a further another degree to get confused of.
Mm-hmm. Hawkstorm.
You know what? Maybe they did confuse Firehawk with Firestorm. Maybe that's what it was. They're just like, they're both fire.
Yeah. I think that's the point Jake was trying to make, and I think that it's possible. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so can we talk about the end of this comic for a minute? The epilogue?
Sure.
Of this arc, or
of this arc, not the whole comic.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. But, like, so Superman, after they beat everybody, and, you know, the Hyper team were trying to, like, get a bunch of white Martians outside of all the Hyper Clan, whatever, to take over Earth. And then, you know, Justice League defeats them. They broadcast to the people of Earth that, you know, they're all susceptible to fire. So after the big punch up, Superman goes talk to the Martian Manhunter. It's like, all right, so because they are Martians, I'm going to leave the final judgment of the punishment up to you. And he's like, well, you're not going to agree with what I choose. But there are psychic punishments that I will do to these guys that are super weird. And so, like, the epilogue as a comic is, I guess Martian Manhunter convinced the white Martians to be people the whole time?
Is that?
And also work as firefighters?
I did not catch that at all.
I didn't get that.
Well, no, it's the epilogue on page, it's 102 on mine.
Okay, hold on.
But it's Bob Gray's Bad Night, blah, 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 looks into the mirror and sees, like, a white Martian face.
I thought it was just a random dude that they said.
That makes a lot more sense. I just didn't understand.
No.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I did not make that
connection.
That's
so wild and messed up that, like, Martian Manhunter is convincing people of his own species to go on a job that will super kill them.
What? Hey! Now they're protecting people, which is the opposite of what they usually do. So,
like, yeah, I guess, but you could have convinced them that they were anybody, like just like a grocer or something. But you're going to convince them to do the job that will almost certainly get them killed.
Okay, but how many people are you going to save by being a grocer?
Also, that's what Martian Manhunter does for fun. That wouldn't be a punishment then.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, still, like, Just send them to the Phantom Zone or something. Why are you making them live out a weird human life where they will certainly die?
Yeah, I will say, so what is the still zone then? Because
Oh, am I transplanting that in my head?
well, no,
I think that they said Phantom Zone.
well, no. I mean, yeah, the Phantom Zone is definitely a more established thing. But on page, it's 94 for me. There's like the still zone. It seems to be some kind of homeostatic continuum existing out with conventional space-time, whatever that means. It's a big little spaceship thingy.
We're like all these white Martians in them.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that is the Phantom Zone, but they don't call it the Phantom Zone?
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, I totally agree with you that he punishes them by making them firefighters. Maybe it's like every time they die, he just sends some more out. Man,
oh, maybe. I don't know.
Man, is Martian Manhunter just re-genociding his people?
Hey, to be fair, it's not his people.
It's his
he's
people.
Green Martian. They're white Martian.
I mean, there are only like 70 of them when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Also, too, I feel like this is the first introduction of white Martians because the Justice League were like, wait, I thought Martian Manhunter was the only Martian left.
I mean, that's what he told everybody when he got to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, what are you not telling people?
Mm-hmm.
That does make me curious when they first appeared. Oh, they definitely. Well, that's from JLA Secret Files in 2000. Okay, so whoever was on art for that, Dale Eaglesham, not Eagleman, drew them very different. Okay, first appearance. That's going to be under history. Actually, not clear, honestly. But I think that definitely before the HyperClan. Oh, apparently there was also Yellow Martians. Never even heard of those.
What?
It was eventually retconned that the White Martians and Green Martians did not originally co-inhabit Mars together, as was previously believed. Okay.
See, not his people.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks
that
like
could have been retconned again, though. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, there was there was the White Saturnians, white people from Saturn.
Okay.
And then
they just landed and pretended to be Martians?
Oh well, actually they were called Kulars. Descended from the underclass of worker clones created by ancient white Martian explorers. Wow, it gets complicated.
Okay.
All right, we're getting we're getting off track here.
We're getting way off track. That counted as my tangent.
When you said Yellow Martians, like that reminded me of I think it was in this issue where he was fighting, or Green Lantern was fighting Armek, and he was like, yeah, he has a weakness to the yellow.
Oh.
And he's like, ha, joke's on you. My ring was fixed before that.
Yeah, that did make me wonder, because it seemed like I would have thought that they would have fixed the impurity part sooner, but then I remembered that the impurity doesn't get fixed until after the Parallax saga, which is basically when, like, Parallax happens and then Kyle Rayner becomes a Green Lantern. So I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense. That it just feels weird. Like that seems like such an antiquated thing from like the early Hal Jordan kind of time. So it's all like, John Stewart and Guy Gardner had to deal with that too.
No, see, I interpret that as plot armor. I was like, oh, okay, that's awfully convenient.
I don't know. It's barely plot armor though. Like, yellow is going to be what defeats this crazy thought weapon that allows you to construct anything that you think of. The color yellow is what defeats that.
Hey, Yellow Lantern. Wait, actually, I guess he did turn yellow.
Yeah.
No, like,
it is the color
it
yellow.
Is just the color yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it used to work.
Okay, I did not know that.
It's because Parallax was the yellow light spectrum energy, and he was trapped inside the green power battery on Oa.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
But yeah, then we get... So after the Martian fight, we get this, I'm going to say, pretty interesting one-shot. Woman of Tomorrow, which is a weird, like, red tornado / Amazo / whatever else weird robot that is the collaboration of Professor T.O. Morrow and Dr. Ivo.
Oh, is it T.O?
Yes, it's T.O. Morrow.
I thought it was T.O, like T.I.O.
Yes, somebody's Spanish uncle. T.O. Morrow.
Yes. Okay, Thomas Oscar Morrow. There we go. Okay, I get you now. I'm with you.
I think T.O. Morrow is the worst. Honestly.
I actually... Oh my gosh. Oh no. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You just heard on air that name just hit.
Yeah, you can't back away from that and say they didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's Tomorrow. It's just like Enigma.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
But then we get Professor
And you know what?
Ivo.
Like, I'm fine with Julian Day, Calendar Man. I'm fine with Edward Enigma. But something about T.O. Morrow crosses the line for me.
I don't know what it is. I don't understand. Like, I mean, you can make the distinction, but I don't understand the distinction.
I think it's that it requires 2 letters, your first and your middle name, to be shortened for it to work.
I mean, not really. He could just be T-Morrow.
That's not close enough, though.
It is close enough. It's close enough. If it was like, military naming, kind of thing, you would even do the very easy anagram, and you would be like, that says Tomorrow.
I don't like the name. It's a bad name. But anyway. Professor Morrow and Ivo collaborate to make this weird robot to, like... I don't even know what the plan is. Because, I guess it's just to, juke the JLA, where it's like, haha, you inducted another evil robot? Just like you did with Red Tornado?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was... The intention was that she was supposed to infiltrate the Justice League and take them down. And I wonder if she was, she had to have been part Amazo. Was she starting to absorb their powers?
Maybe? Because, they do make it the plan was to use an EMP blast to make this... What do they call it? It's another dumb name, but it's not even, a catchy dumb name.
Well, it was the thing was supposed to stop all biological, movement or something, electromagnetic. Something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact term. But, she had that bomb inside of her.
Oh, yeah, she had a bomb.
Yeah.
I forgot.
That it basically acted as an EMP, but for electric impulses in your brain, basically.
Oh, yeah, and it's because the other thing in this book is something called IF, which is the...
Implicate field.
Implicate field.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, explain.
It's dumb. And it's I feel like it's supposed to go over, because all the heroes call it IF, but if is such a weird, like, your name shouldn't be what even, like, kind of noun, verb, adjective, adverb would if be?
It's definitely, I think it's either a verb or it's just an article, but,
Yeah, I would say an article.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember, like, the catch-all term for, like, that class of word, but whatever.
Okay.
Like, it's bad.
So this is how...
On top of, like, all the other bad names in the story.
This is how Batman describes the implicate field. Advanced quantum technology from the 32nd century. One of several weapons confiscated from the Lord of Time's arsenal by the U.S. military. It has several preset war modes generated by the hard drive core. And that's it.
Huh. Okay.
Alright, so here's what I'm gonna say. This is one thing that I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for. When something that is, like, completely out of this world would ruin everybody's day if it ever got into somebody's possession, whenever that happens, before, like, season 2, they shoot that into the sun, and then it's nobody's problem. And I feel like that's what they should have done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just, like, talk to Superman, get him to, like, even if you don't want to toss it into our sun, just ask Superman nicely. You know, he'll go out and throw something into somebody else's sun.
Yeah.
It's like throwing dog poop into somebody else's yard.
He's just like, yeah, scope it out, make sure it's not inhabited or whatever, but we can't have this on Earth.
Yeah, although unless it was time travel though, so maybe that thing is never going to be in the future for it to come back, and
you know what? If it was easy enough to get time traveled out, then they don't need it in the future. It obviously wasn't important.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I skimmed over that explanation. So when they were all like the if, and then I was like the what, and then I skipped over that part. I was like,
Morrow is like, yeah, like I created her with like very own like, you know, patent brain, like it's a work of art. And so he's like, yeah, I literally didn't even put freedom in her vocabulary. Like, she has no concept of what that is.
That's such an over-the-top evil thing to do.
Yeah.
But then he gets shown up because she's like, I don't know what... I got the feeling it was like, I don't know what it's called, but I gotta do good, or something like that. And she just, like, kamikazes herself to destroy the if.
Yeah.
and she's like, not in my vocabulary. Like, that's her last words. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Although I don't necessarily know if I appreciate it, but this is something to note. Like, this issue starts with a funeral and ends with a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And so Batman or Superman, when who's ever digging her grave, I guess the Reverend, sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never buried a android before. And Superman's like, you didn't today. Basically saying, like, she earned her right to not be considered an android.
Yeah. She was a person.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, overall, I liked it. Even with, like, the Tio Morrow. And also, that should have been a red flag, because she introduces herself to the Justice League as Tomorrow Woman.
Honestly, I didn't catch that, so...
Until, like, I started to say it out loud, neither did I.
Yeah. Gotcha. But Batman should have caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been, like...
That. Yeah. Also,
yeah, it's
okay.
Just...
So they had like a recruit drive for the Justice League, and she just
I kind of like that.
She just crashes
that
into
whole
the
bit.
building, and I'm just like, oh, and you just accept that? Just like, yeah, we'll take you. You don't even know anything about her.
Yeah, I mean, it was especially like kind of in comparison with some of the little like Justice League bits we got from Animal Man. It's interesting that like, you know, it seemed like the Justice League was having trouble finding recruits. And
yeah, if this is the caliber of competition, Animal Man should be in there, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think by 1997, Animal Man was not being written by Grant Morrison, and also probably didn't want to be in the Justice League anymore.
That's fair.
Man, so wasn't there one guy where Flash was like, yeah, you should come join and, you know, try out. And the dude's like, I'm just here to sightsee, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the guy who's just like, I'm literally just here to leer at Wonder Woman, and that's all I'm here for.
That was like such a bad joke, too. I was like, ugh.
Bro, okay, I thought it was weird how many times they make that joke, though.
Yeah. That was so off for me, too. I was all like, Grant Morrison, did somebody like hold a gun to your head and say that you have to like be like sexist? Because it was just like...
Oh, but also too, like, just her whole getup, like, it didn't click to me how weird it was till like reading this. I was like, that is weird. Like, you are basically wearing undies. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, lots of people have said that though, I feel like, but yeah, that doesn't mean that she deserves guys like looking at her that way. It's just like, oh. Like,
yeah, good bit. I like the recruitment drive because it reminded me of, like, I think the first episode of, like, Justice League Unlimited, where it's, like, you know, now they're, like, they get all, like, the weird kind of B-list, like, people in the Justice League. Like, we got Supergirl and Green Arrow, who also shows up later in this book. But, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just because I was remembering the TV show, but it was good.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen more of Plastic Man. He's actually featured, like, when they do the, like, here's everybody with their names panel. And he's right in the front real big, but doesn't actually get any screen time past that.
Not even in this comic.
Yeah.
That is another part of this that I was, like, interested in, where it's like, man, there are some nobodies in this book. Like, who's Aztec?
That's true. Who is Aztec?
And, like, they name drop him as, like, he's one of the front runners. He's the guy I really liked.
Yeah.
He's like, who?
Yeah. The one who almost made it on the Justice League.
You know what I just realized? I think that Warrior, I don't know if you guys are on the page that I'm on, but Warrior is, he's Guy Gardner.
What?
Yeah, I forgot. He has, like, a whole, like... He loses his power ring and becomes, like, a different kind of superhero.
I mean, like, he's got red hair, but...
Yeah, that's him. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna bet, like, 90% sure that that's him.
Gotcha.
But also, I mean, like, yeah, other nobodies include Warrior, obviously, Hitman, Damage, and the people who were on the satellite in that first issue with Metamorpho. Because, like, Metamorpho's the only one who gets named.
Yeah. Well there's also Obsidian.
Like, I think it's supposed to be Hawk and Dove because they're, like, red and blue. But, like, that's the only guess I have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is this Artemis, like Young Justice Artemis?
No. Different Artemis.
This is, like, Red Hood and the Outlaws Artemis. Whereas, like, she is a Themysciran like Wonder Woman, but is not Wonder Woman.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Or Wonder Girl.
Okay, I will say, I do have a little bit of an issue with Wonder Woman being like, in the recruitment drive, Wonder Woman being like, you know, I sure would like to see some more women on this team. I was like, and then guess who? A woman shows up, and they're like, we'll take you.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, I
ugh.
don't blame. Well, it's not like Wonder Woman is specifically going to be all like, well, there's this less qualified candidate, but she's a woman.
God.
It's that, she wants somebody who understands women,
Yeah.
especially with the job that they do. It's all like, first of all, she probably has problems superheroing that the other superheroes don't. Second of all, saving women in different like places comes with some different challenges, depending, like, if you're just like saving them from like falling, that's like, just normal. But like if you need to like get a little bit more personal, yeah, like just having that like kind of like the difference in psychology, it makes a lot of sense. It's not just like, well, it should be equal. It's like there's actually a lot of good reasons.
Yeah, I definitely interpreted it as that the former. So yeah, but I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, fine.
Yeah,
I still have an issue with them being like, yeah, we'll take you.
After that one shot, we get like, I would say like 3 issues of just some throwaway, weird angel fighting.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean,
6, 7, 8, 9, 4.
Oh, 4. All right, cool.
Yeah, I would.
So 1 through 4 is Mars, 5 is Android, and then 6 through 9 is.
No, because it's not that long. Because we get the key guy, which is like kind of part of the heaven on earth stuff, but like.
Oh, you're right.
It's not part of it.
The heaven on earth is probably just 2 issues.
Yeah.
Or well, maybe 3.
Yeah, because
it starts at chapter 6 or issue 6, and then.
Okay, yeah. So heaven on earth is 2 issues.
Yeah.
And then the rest.
Oh, okay, just 6 and 7. That's not as bad then.
Yeah.
But they are still kind of throwaway.
Yeah, because basically what happens is one angel gets permission probably to live as a mortal, and be mortal, because he's in love with a woman that's never met him, which is the reveal at the end. Bad move. Just gonna say that. And then there's another, but he knows a secret about a different angel, that he is planning a revolt in heaven, like Lucifer did. And so also I feel like in the middle of this I should say just a reminder that this is a comics podcast, and if you just like flipped on, this is not like a religious like anyway, so this is about comic books. So yeah, basically there's a different angel who's trying to revolt, or has plans to revolt and succeed where Lucifer failed, and basically he can't let the other angel that knows his secret live, where he might be able to tell people and stop him. Meanwhile, all of this is orchestrated though by the devil, Lucifer, somebody who's evil that's also in the same plane of like heavenly stuff.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Just I described him as a microscopic being that, and his name is Lord Miron. Lord Miron? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he's like microscopic is how I said it. Yeah. But then I don't know how that so also in this story we get introduced to a guy who's in a coma. Right. But I don't know how Lord Miron, who's microscopic, translates to this guy who we eventually learn is the key. Yeah. Like, I don't know how those two play into each other. But basically, how this story is structured is most of the Justice League, as they're fighting all these angels, are on Earth. Superman and the Flash are in the space station, and they're dealing with like just the space station being like rocked, and that's because of Lord Miron and his doing. While the angels are kind of separate. And then also, it's interesting that you said you were talking about Batman in this, Jake, and I guess you weren't considering the rest of these issues because Batman is hardly in them.
Yeah, I mean, like, everybody talks about Batman in those first issues, and, like, that's the end of the discussion for this, like, whole Grant Morrison run. Nobody talks about the crazy angels that like, try to, ruin Earth. Nobody talks about the weird, like, I feel like it's become kind of old hat now. The weird, like, dream sequence showing, like, heroes what they really want or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was... Technically, it had already kind of been done by Alan Moore, like, probably, like, I don't know, 5 years before that-ish, 7 years, with, like, he did that... It was like a Swamp Thing Superman crossover where Mongol, like, basically...
I knew Mongol had to be involved.
Yeah, he like, gives Superman the birthday present that, of, like, what if Krypton had never been destroyed, and, So, yeah. It's not the first time that's been done, but certainly not as done as it's been now.
Gotcha. I will say it's a creative use of that dream sequence, though.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, like, the idea where it's all like, don't, or like, he wants them to win and wake up in order to power his battery or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, it is an interesting twist because usually the plan ends when they wake up, but to the key, I guess that's just the next step.
Yeah.
I was never super clear on, like, what that was actually supposed to achieve when that happened.
So, the way that he described it was he had the brain capacity to know what to do, but he didn't have the brain power to do it. So, when the Justice League realized that they were in a dream, their brain activity will spike, powering his brain to open a doorway to the center of creation. That's how I understand it.
Where?
But what does that get you?
Well,
the keys of creation.
Yeah, basically he will become essentially the god of the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't find that to be super clear.
And then he almost gets there, but then he gets punched out with a boxing glove arrow.
When you said the first arc ended quickly, I thought that this ended quickly.
You thought the Justice League was gonna have to go up against an evil god.
Yeah. But then he just gets knocked out.
I mean, that's fair.
I feel like that's just so anticlimactic.
Yeah. It's kind of like, where do you go with that a little bit? Because it's like, when you're literally all powerful, it's like, can the Justice League really stop you? Mm-hmm. But also, like, yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, this angel called Zoriel. So, kind of going back a little bit, this angel called Zoriel, comes to Earth, and all the Justice League are like, right, except for Superman and the Flash, are like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, so basically, the end of the world, like, you can't really stop these guys because they're angels, and but like, I guess you could try." And so.
Yeah, the way that this angel is, like, so flippant, or not, I don't know if flippant is the right word, but, like, just, like, he's just, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, it feels, like, very weird in comparison to, like, just, like, essentially being holier than thou.
Yeah.
Just, like.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Confident that they would fail.
Yeah.
Oh man, the part that gets me when he's like, be careful. These weapons of heaven burn human flesh. Like, okay.
Yeah. And also, like...
yeah, it's weird because, like, there's also, like, the weird blimp that comes by. And then, like, Wonder Woman's starting to fight it.
Yeah.
Zariel reminds her of it, and like she touches it, and then like recoils because she's being burned. But then like 2 pages later, she's just like pressing the whole blimp on her back, no problem.
Well, yeah, she says burns will heal, so I assumed that she was getting burned, and like
I mean, like it's cool because like they still do like the same like flame effect that was there when she touched it, and so she just like takes it, no problem. That's pretty cool. But like it's weird for you to mention it, show how much it hurts her, and then like 2 issues later, like it's not even like, oh man, I gotta like dig deep, I gotta find the strength to do this. She's just like, no problem.
No, off
like,
screen.
Pressing her entire body against the blimp.
Off screen, she said, Hera, give me strength. You just missed that.
See, but you could just do that on screen, though.
Yeah.
If that's what happened.
It's true, yeah. That would have been a good insert, I think. Yeah. Or, even, like, we could have gotten some of that good internal monologue where it's just like, like, oh, this really hurts. I could die.
Yeah.
This isn't even my religion. I believe in Greek gods.
Oh wait, doesn't that technically mean that all religions are real in the DC universe?
Yeah, they kind of don't talk about that, but yeah, it does.
Yeah. I think Grant Morrison specifically talks about that.
I guess most comic writers don't talk about it.
Yeah. But yeah, and then also there was another part that was like that, not the flaming blimp. It's not going to come back to me right now, but there was something that was like, oh, so that's how that works, And I mean, for one thing, Martian Manhunter really shouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
He was also helping. Oh, I remembered it actually also. So the bad guy Angel, whatever his name was, with the eyes, he basically like reveals himself, I guess, to like as modal, and then he's all like, only the pure of heart can see me in my true form, and then it was like, but you revealed yourself to Superman, the one person that it wouldn't work against.
Oh, and so earlier in that comic, Superman was talking to Flash and was like, yeah, I just don't know if I can live up to the myth. And then like Flash is like, wait, you're taking on an angel.
Yeah. Yeah, you've literally been decreed by like essentially like, like it wasn't God who said it, but like given the rules that God set up, you were like decreed by God to be pure of heart. You are absolutely living up to the legend. In fact, you are now more legendary. Yeah.
There's a part where the Flash is so what happens on the space station is that Superman and the Flash get a distress signal somehow, and then the Flash is like, all right, I'm going out there, and then he gets trapped in the teleporter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. To get to that part.
I remember. Yeah.
Though honestly, but that whole explanation. So let's see. He's like, okay, the Justice League teleport device bends space using ambient matter. Ambient matter exists neither in one place or the other, but can be used as a carrier. And he's like, I've embedded in ambient matter, blah blah blah. I guess it was something else, but there was something else that was like, yeah, these are waves that appear solid.
Mm-hmm.
And it might have been this, just I didn't see it, but
yeah,
I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of saying a lot but nothing at all at the same time.
I mean, like, it kind of reminded me of like quantum particles, where it's like it may be in one position when it's being observed, and then another while it's not. And then, like, that's a fun like technobabble way to say teleportation.
Yeah.
But like, this is just like adding an extra layer, but like you're not even calling it like quantum particles.
Yeah.
You're calling it ambient matter. What even is ambient matter?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
if you break it down,
Right.
I think what Grant Morrison was trying to get at was basically like there's matter all around us everywhere, and so like basically you can transition yourself through those, those atoms all the way down to the next teleporter.
What if it's like this? So if matter is all around us, right? You can say, well, here's matter, but it's also over here. But it's also over here. Because it's all around. There's not one specific section of it that is just matter.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah. unless I misunderstood what you're saying.
I think different routes to get to the same destination.
Okay. Yeah. And it's all teleportation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is pretty like, I kind of wonder too if like maybe this was like really wild and entertaining at the time it was published, but now we've gotten quite good at technobabble for these kinds of situations.
Yeah.
So it's all like, come on, you didn't even talk about like quantum anything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like my technobabble bar is pretty high. I need at least one quantum.
Yeah.
Or like bring in antimatter. Talk about antimatter or dark matter.
Ooh, they did talk about antimatter. That one guy, they were all like, if you were made... Oh yeah, that's right. They barely even stopped at Kyle Rayner's like alternate brain reality. But like basically he comes through and he's all like, I am made out of antimatter. Batman's all like, look here, if you were touching me, we'd be exploding right now. You're not made out of antimatter. And then he was like, whoa, I'm Green Lantern.
Oh, right. Okay, right. Okay,
yeah.
You're talking about the dream sequences.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha.
That was later on in the book.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the dream sequences. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So like this issue is so like Wonder Woman is like fighting off. This is right after Zoriel's like, they'll burn human or immortal flesh.
Right. Yeah.
And then Kyle's like, yeah, that's Wonder Woman.
Well, because she's doing it, not because her flesh is getting burned.
No, I interpret it as like, see, like, look at that, I get some eye candy.
No, that's not what he meant either. No.
No, because Wonder Woman's inside the ship at that point, like blowing up all the consoles.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's the airship is going down. It's like, oh yeah, go Wonder Woman. Yeah, way to go.
That is not how I interpret it at all.
That's the intended message.
Yeah, it is definitely the intended message. Oh
yeah, gosh. Yeah. So Martian Manhunter. So for the next issue with the Key guy, or well, his name is the Key. Martian Manhunter was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break. This was really exhausting for me.
It's like, yeah, I just had to fight the angels of a god I don't believe in. So I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you're adding in that don't believe in, but... I mean,
he's from Mars! Why would he believe in...
It could be assumed, yes, absolutely.
But yeah, actually, it was also technically established... Probably actually 1 year later, in Sandman, when he makes an appearance, Dream he doesn't look how Dream appears to humans. He appears as the dream god of Mars.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Does have different...
But yeah, I'm glad he got a break, because he got kind of a raw deal, having to fight, like, everybody else, like, got to fight, like, some, like, lower level and, like, fight on that blimp. Like, he had to fight the guy that Superman had to fight later.
Yeah.
So he got kind of a raw deal.
It's true.
In this fight.
To be fair though, Martian Manhunter is like he is often compared to Superman in power level.
That's true. Yeah.
So, it's kind of yes and no, but yeah, he definitely deserved the break for sure. I agree
Like,
with that.
nobody else even tried, I guess is what, like, I kind of meant. Like, Flash isn't trying to punch him. Green Lantern's not producing any, like, cages around him. Martian Manhunter's just like, I guess I'll buy some time while everybody else figures out how we're gonna finish this.
Yeah.
I will say I'm a little like in disbelief on how it's either confusion or disbelief on how they were able to counteract the Angels, because Green Lantern was like, yes, this treadmill, I can use it to convert the kinetic energy into sonic energy or whatever.
Don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
And then,
that's the answer.
And then it's like, yeah, and this counteracts the sonic vibrations that the Angels are giving off.
Oh yeah, so they did the same trick twice, kind of.
Yeah, it's the same thing as it was in Crisis on Infinite Earths, where it's like, each universe has like its own vibrations.
Oh yeah.
These angels don't have like actual physical forms. They're basically like hard sound. So if we make a frequency that is like the opposite of their frequency, they will cease to exist.
Yeah.
How they get that from running on a green treadmill is that's the part you don't think too hard enough about.
Yeah. At least this time Flash didn't have to die.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be tough.
What did he say? He said, "You gentlemen like to hurry."
Or no, yeah. Would you like to hurry?
Yeah, and then Flash is like, "What are you kidding? I do that for a living."
It's true. It is what he does.
Yes.
So the epilogue of this is basically they're like, okay, we have to induct Green Arrow as a member of the team. Which, now that I think about it, is kind of a little bit off, because they were all like, oh yeah, we're thinking about this person, and this person, and then they do, like, the Woman of Tomorrow, or Tomorrow Woman, I mean, and then they're like, oh, okay, this is our person, and we're not going to get any of those other people, and then she dies, and they're like, I guess we're going to go with Green Arrow, not the other people we were considering.
Good old second choice, Green Arrow.
But it's like... Tomorrow Woman didn't cancel out those other applicants. They still could have chosen them. I mean, ultimately, as a reader, I'm glad that they went with Green Arrow, but kind of weird that they were like, yeah, I think that this is going to be who we choose. And then they're like, actually Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Without any explanation.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that's true.
I love it that Batman, so, like, in the epilogue, like, they're all talking, and then Batman's like, there's something off.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And are you looking at the floor? Like, what? How do you know?
Yeah, something happens,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, also, well, I'll mention this after, actually. This it doesn't pertain to the current issues. So yeah, basically we talked about it a little bit. There's like the dream sequence kind of where everybody gets like, so I really thought when they started out with Superman becoming a Green Lantern, I thought everybody was gonna get like mixed up roles, but then it was just like, nope, Aquaman's still Aquaman. He's just in a universe where his villains actually take over the world. And
is that what that
yeah,
is?
it reminded me of like a weird like reverse Flashpoint, where like in Flashpoint, Aquaman is like attacking people on the high seas. In this case, like Aquaman is now on the high seas running away from Black Manta.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. I don't think they intended that, but
Gotcha.
That's what it reminded me of.
I didn't even make the connection that they took over the world. Like, I just completely glossed over that.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty is underwater.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, look at that.
And then there's like weird, like future Batman who's married to Catwoman, and then like Tim Drake is now Batman, and there's Bruce Jr. as Robin.
Which I think is a weird choice. I would think nepotism would rule out in this case.
I don't know. This is before you're forgetting about Damian Wayne.
Uh-huh.
But this is like before he came around, I guess. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. I don't agree with you, Talon.
Okay.
Like, it just doesn't make sense for your child to be Batman, and then it's all like, yeah, Robin, you've been Robin for so long, you're just so good at it. Like,
no. What I'm saying is like Tim wouldn't even be here. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. So you would have Bruce Jr. become Batman, and
Yeah.
then some other person be
I-
like his best friend or something.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't even so like. I just assumed that Bruce Jr. was Batman, and so when they called him Tim, like I didn't believe it at first.
Yeah, I okay, I will admit, even though in universe, I think that the way that they did it made sense. The way that the story was told, it was a little confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Who was who? I was like, wait, is Bruce Jr. Batman? And also it didn't help that, like, why does Bruce Jr. have red hair? Catwoman has brown hair. Batman has black hair.
Yeah, he's not a Green Arrow child.
Jason.
it's just it's to fulfill the tradition of like Robin's having red hair, I guess. Except there's only one of them so far.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the Dark Knight Returns Robin was also a redhead, I think.
Yeah, but
isn't that the only one though?
So Jason Todd technically has red hair.
Oh.
Boy, is that a weird story. He dyed his hair to be more like Richard the First.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was under Batman's asking, though.
Oh no.
Yeah. Like, it was explained as, like, you know, basically they're both symbols, and so there has to be continuity between, like, you know, nobody can know that there's a second Robin. You know, it's like it has to be the same over, and they never age, you know. Nobody cares.
Oh, but speaking of people's kids, the Green Arrow that we get in this comic isn't Oliver Queen. It's Connor Hawke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I just got Green Arrow, and they didn't say his first name, so I was like, who is this guy? And so he was like, all right, Connor, like, we can do this. I was like, oh, it's Connor Queen. And I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, they say it eventually. Like, before then, I think, though. There's definitely a part where, like, the teleporter guy is all like, oh yeah, who are you and stuff? What happened to the old Green Arrow?
Well, no, he said that was his father. He didn't
Yeah.
say his name.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess I know who Green Arrow's son is then.
I did not.
Okay. I guess that's the problem.
How
then.
long did you watch The Arrow to not pick up a single thing about Green Arrow?
Yeah.
Well, so no, I knew it wasn't Connor Queen from Green Arrow, but I was like, okay, so then what's the other name then? Because Connor Queen doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Well, did you understand there was supposed to be Connor is his first name during that teleporter scene?
No.
See,
like I said, when he said, "All right, Connor, you can do this," that's when I figured out that his name was Connor.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I can't blame you for that. You didn't connect those dots.
All right. Okay. Anyway.
Also, too, his name is Connor Hawke, which I assume was more of a artistic choice because Connor Queen doesn't sound right.
Yeah, he was kind of like in like season 6 of Arrow, where it's revealed that like Oliver had that kid who like his mom told the kid's mom to like leave and never tell Oliver. That's kind of what happened with Connor.
Okay.
And then like he came back.
Gotcha.
And that's why they don't have he's not Connor Queen.
I see, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, also as far as like the other like alternate universes that aren't actually alternate universes, they're, just uh
Elseworlds.
Elseworlds. No, because that's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Uh imaginings within
Oh yeah,
this
imaginary stories.
imaginary stories, yeah. Basically, so Wonder Woman, so that's a costume that she actually had in the 80s, I think. Maybe it was the late 70s.
I was like, that costume is awesome.
Oh yeah. It did coincide with her being depowered too.
I was gonna say, yeah, wasn't it like she got depowered for a while and like stopped being Wonder Woman?
Yeah, it was actually, unfortunately for you, Talon, liking the costume, a bad look for the series.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. That was like something that had kind of happened a little bit. Like that was the only one that was like related to something that had actually happened in main universe. Then the Flash is like, so he basically, his suit looks more like Jay Garrick's Flash, and like there's something about like magical mercury that like drips down at noon each day.
Yeah, from the Speed Force.
From the Speed Force, yeah.
That makes all just regular people like super fast.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long that lasted.
Right. And it's also like the motion of the comic is super unclear because it's like, wait, so then is he going extra super fast so that he's still faster than everybody? Because it looks like everybody's in slow motion and he's going fast like normal. Gotcha. So I'm like, wait, if everybody's fast, then you're just like a normal guy then. Like, how does that work?
I will say, it's like his suit is like silver, right?
Yeah.
And not red, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
I bet they would call him the Silver Comet.
Probably I feel like the Silver Speedster.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, gotta get that alliteration.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Because yeah.
I mean,
Crimson Comet.
That does bring up a interesting point, maybe, about these like dream sequences, where it's like all of these individual characters' worlds are being like messed with in interesting ways. Like Flash has to deal with all these other people being speedsters. Clark has to deal with becoming a Green Lantern. Wonder Woman is dealing with like not quite being depowered, but like weird, like, Nazi occult science. And then Batman is just dealing with the Joker still.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, how in this like weird Gotham future is Gotham A still like super messed up, and B, it's still the Joker?
That's the whole thing though, Jake. He's still here. It's never gonna end.
Yeah. It's a nightmare. A nightmare that is supposed to peek at him, waking up.
I mean, everybody else gets all these cool new circumstances.
Gotcha.
Right.
And Batman gets the Joker again.
Well, yeah.
Like, his kid's there, but, like, still.
Okay, Jake, look at it this way, though. I think, and you actually helped me realize this, I didn't really think much of these, like, alternate realities, or these alternate situations, but, so it's about, like, Batman is stepping away from the mantle. He finally finds some happiness where he gets to have his cake and eat it too. He doesn't have to be Batman anymore, but there still is a Batman, one that he trusts. And then but then it all goes bad. And
yeah.
And so it's like that, like the perfect, or well, not the perfect situation, but like in his warped view, the perfect situation, and then the worst thing that could happen, his son being in danger, and then it's like everybody in Gotham's in danger. It's a nuke.
So I will. We are coming near the end, so there are some quick things I want to hit. we kind of alluded to this before, but these dream sequences were, basically all of the Justice League members were put in a pod, and then that's how these dream sequences were entered into their brain. And that was done by the Key. And basically his deal is that he was like a Silver Age villain, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And he realized that he could have been smarter.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did was he basically put himself in a coma, or first created like a chemical that could increase his brain power.
Yeah.
And then put himself in a coma to absorb all that brain juice to get smarter. And then he just woke up, and it was like, all right, time to do my master plan,
Yeah.
But then gets taken out by Green Arrow, who's not even a member of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Although I guess that is a point that did work in his favor.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yeah, I didn't even account for this guy.
Yeah. When the Justice League doesn't win, somebody else does. There we go.
Yep.
Because the Justice League always wins. But yeah, basically, then like after that whole story is the Secret Files Justice League, which probably I assume acted as like an annual, maybe, but basically, yeah, there's this other adventure where Flash goes to stop this alien invasion kind of thing, and it's like these little starfish creatures that latch onto your face.
And it's not Starro, right?
It's not Starro, but it's kind of Starro.
Yeah, it alludes to Starro in the original Justice League. Or Justice Society, I mean.
But yes, he gets taken over, and so he becomes evil. And the rest of the Justice League is about to, go in and save him, but then the Spectre shows up, and he's like, hey now, they're just going to take over you too and then destroy the whole Earth, so...
Yeah, and then they're like, we don't care, and then he shows them what happens, like literally, and then they're like, oh, okay, we'll take away our powers then, and then we'll go in.
Which doesn't seem like the train of thought. It seems like it'd be, okay, so we can't go in there with powers. Who do we know who doesn't have powers? Batman, this sounds like a problem for you. That seems like it should be the train of thought.
But it has...
Well, I mean, technically they did that, because they were like, Batman's the only one who could defeat these guys. So, you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. They could have just sent, Bruce and Tim and Robin and everybody. Because, he's got a team full of people who don't have powers.
Yeah, but
it's like his whole thing.
They're not the Justice League, though. Yes. They don't know how to work with, alien stuff.
I guess.
Well, also, Jake, you're forgetting, Batman did originally say, I'll go in alone. But then the rest of the Justice League were like, well, no, we're not letting you go alone.
They should have just all nodded and said, yeah, all right. Sounds like a plan.
No.
But yeah, so the Spectre takes away their powers. Okay, so this is what's confusing to me. Takes away their powers, and then they defeat the fake Starro, and he's like, okay, I'm going to give you your powers back. But then he just doesn't give Superman his powers back. He's I'm assuming that's how he becomes this blue super.
No. That's not how that happens. No, this is, see that it says end right at the bottom.
Right.
And then, so this is a brand new situation that does not continue. It is not continuous.
Then I'm even more dissatisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to know how Blue Superman becomes Blue Superman, read Action Comics from the late 90s. That's the only thing I can tell you. I'm not gonna...
Yeah, I mean, I believe that it happens after Death of Superman, so I'm pretty sure Superman actually died in between, issue 4 and 5.
Gotcha. But again, that's weird that they don't explain that.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. They also don't explain why Superman has a mullet, which we haven't brought up yet. But Superman has a mullet in this whole comic.
It's
and every time I saw Superman...
Well, I just thought of Death of Superman, like, come back, so I assumed that had
like,
happened.
I thought that was...
Maybe it did already happen then, actually. I might be wrong about that.
Like, so maybe... I thought that was the only story where that happened, but then there's just, like, this whole Justice League run where, like, all the times he's regular Superman, he's got this weird mullet, and nobody talks about it.
Okay, I take it back, actually. I'm pretty sure Death of Superman came before this series. But, like, probably right before, because it was related. The Red and Blue Superman was related. But, yeah, this was probably after he came back.
Gotcha. But yeah, and then also in this issue, we get a day in the life of Martian Manhunter. I mean, pretty mundane, just like a cab driver and a detective.
I mean, I was still really compelling. I want more.
Gotcha.
I liked it, yeah. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, you say it's mundane, but he's also solving a bunch of crimes as John Jones.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're out of time.
But yeah,
so.
That was good.
Yeah.
I guess, we'll do our outro, I suppose.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Until next time, this has been the Comic Panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
And I'm Jacob.
And we will see you next time.
You can catch us on Mondays, 5 to 7 p.m. on KSUA 91.5 FM, The People's Radio. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Comic Panel, It's Comic Time. Or you can follow us on Instagram at _comic_panel, or like our Facebook page at It's Comic Time. Have a great rest of your day.